Eglin Field, a sprawling 384,000-acre Army Air Corps base in Okaloosa County, gained fame in World War II for its role in giving Americans their first good news after Pearl Harbor. The official history of Eglin tells the story in typical military understatement. 7 March 1942. Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle and a B-25 detachment of 72 officers and 75 enlisted men arrive at Eglin Field in rehearsals for the Tokyo Raid. Beginning one of the most dramatic military episodes of the war, the Doolittle Raiders used Eglin to practice low-level attack runs and carrier takeoffs. From Eglin, Doolittle and his boys flew into history when they became the first men ever to fly bombers off the deck of an aircraft carrier in a mission to bomb Tokyo on April 18, 1942. Doolittle Raider Ed Horton of Fort Walton Beach remembers the orders the men received before they launched off the deck of the USS Hornet, about 600 miles northeast of Japan, on the mission to Tokyo and the safety of China beyond.
One thing that they instilled upon us that we were not to touch the Imperial Palace. That was one thing that they were very insistent on. We were briefed primarily on our targets, and our targets were industrial targets on the north edge of Tokyo Bay. And we took off at 8 o'clock, approximately 8 o'clock in the morning. We were over target around noontime. We got to the coast of China around, well, we bailed out at 10 o'clock at night.
None of the 16 B-25s in the raid, memorialized in paintings, books, and the movies, were shot down over Japan. But they ran out of gas short of their landing bases, and their crews were forced to bail out. Of the 80 Doolittle Raiders, 71 survived, most of whom were rescued by the Chinese. The raid earned Doolittle a Medal of Honor and promotion to commander of the 8th Air Force Europe. Named after Lieutenant Colonel Frederick Eglin, who was killed in a training flight in 1937, Eglin Field played a prominent role in Air Corps training and research throughout the war.
Eglin's dual mission of testing and gunnery and bombing training here was vital to the war effort. Thousands of pilots trained here on gunnery and bombing techniques that went on to fly the combat aircraft, the fighters, the bombers, in all theaters across the globe. At the same time we were conducting the training mission, we were conducting a testing mission in which every combat aircraft went through some sort of operational testing before they were sent to combat.
In addition to the Doolittle training, Eglin was home to many top-secret research projects, including construction of an American copy of the German V-1 rocket and tests on the best way to bomb V-1 launch facilities.
When the weapon had been reconstructed, several were created and then brought down here to Eglin for testing out on Santa Rosa and Okaloosa Islands. And that was in late 1944. After a kind of a bad start, several of the early launches were not successful. As they were getting better at it, they had many, very many successful launches of the JB-2 Loon. There are still remnants of those test sites out on Santa Rosa and Okaloosa Island.
During the course of the war, the Army Air Corps built more than 10 separate fields at Eglin to support the base's multiple missions, including what is today Hurlburt Field. Hurlburt was the site of testing for the new technology called radar. The Army's early oscilloscope-type radar detected the Japanese planes attacking Pearl Harbor at a range of 132 miles, but the report was mistakenly interpreted as an expected flight of B-17s.